everyone. It's author talk time again. And you guys have me, Amy Russell Fern. Our lovely guest today is Brian. And you guys, let's talk about the weekend, shall we? Okay. I believe that my motto is going to be buckle up, Buttercup, because let me just tell you what has happened. Okay. All right. Monday. Okay. All of you guys know last Monday we talked about it. My husband has had a death in his family, and the funeral was on Thursday. So Josh went out of town for a work trip Monday through Wednesday, coming back. We're going to head back on Wednesday to go to the funeral. Okay. Well, my oldest decided she wanted to learn how to fly. Okay. Josh goes out of town on Monday. My daughter jumps off her table and breaks her arm Monday night. I spent 7 hours in the ER. My daughter broke both of the bones in her arm, her radius and her ulna, and displaced it. So it was dangling there. Wow. And they had to sedate her and reset her arm and put it in a splint. I was at the ER from 8 Monday night till 2:30 in the morning. I got home and I don't have family here. My family's 2.5 hours away. Josh was 2.5 hours away. So I had to have someone that has watched my kids before come and grab Sky from the ER. So to take her home, because can you imagine? I was dealing with 2 there. That would have been extremely difficult. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then to top it off, right, we had our funeral on Thursday for Joanne, and that went as smooth as you could kind of picture it to go, right? I smoothed it. And then we come home to find out that my lovely husband has COVID and feels like hammered hell. So when they say that bad things come in threes, they legitimately mean it, but I didn't think it would be in the span of a friggin' week, okay? Literally Monday, Wednesday, Sunday, okay? I need just no. At least not stagnate them, but, break them up. Make it like 1 a month. I can handle that, but not in the same. So I am very much hoping that all of you guys had better weeks than I did and a better Easter. So happy belated Easter to everybody. I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's Amy's Monday of hell.
So he had COVID over Easter, the poor guy. He couldn't.
Yes. So we did the Easter egg hunt at home and like a devotional. We didn't get to go to a ceremony like we wanted to. So that was, fun and eventful. And I know I shouldn't laugh and it's awful, but he feels like hammered hell. And you
gotta laugh.
I know. You can just look at him and it's like he's been hit by a sledgehammer. And I'm just like,
I bet you looked the same when you got home Monday morning at 2:30.
I mean, I did. I definitely did. Okay, look, here's the humor and my daughter breaking her arm. Okay, because you got to find humor in these things, right? So let me describe to you guys how I went to the ER because I feel like this will lighten up this conversation and I have to just laugh at myself. So I got one of those like pore vacuum things, right, that you put on your face. It's like suction cups all over your face, okay? That I was doing while she broke her arm. Okay, fun facts. That's what I was doing. So just imagine what my face looked like. It was, I put the suction on too hard. I did the top level because I was like, ooh, this is nothing. Yes, let's do it. No, okay, just no. Because I had popped blood vessels all over my face. I was red. I looked like those little suction cup things, for your muscles hurting.
Yeah, they thought that you were in the hospital for you too.
It was so great, you guys. And I was in my lounge outfit. Okay. And Fern, you understand what I say when I say my lounge outfit. Okay. Mm-hmm. Straight up. That's how I went. Cause we just got in the car when this happened. Okay.
Yeah. Because you're not gonna be like, sit there with your dangly little arm. I'm gonna go get dressed. No.
So
that was not a thought. Not a thought at all.
Meth addiction?
No, I didn't look like I was on the meth addiction. No. I mean, okay, well, to be fair, maybe, because when I walked in, the sheriff or cop that was, sitting at the front, he asked me, Miss, are you okay? I said, yes, no, I'm fine. He said, no, really, are you okay? I said, yes, she just broke her arm. Granted, I was hyperventilating. I called Josh on the car ride over there, so I had been crying on top of my suction things all over my face. So to say the least, I look like a ratchet hot mess in the ER with my daughter and her broke arm till 2:30 in the morning. My hair was on top of my head like, a little rat's nest that you guys have never seen and hopefully never do see.
Oh, we have actually one time seen it.
Yes.
We have?
Yeah.
Yes.
Brian,
Mhm.
this is how tough Amy is. Okay. This is how tough she is. She did a Monday show in the labor room.
I did. In the labor and delivery. I was pacing back and forth.
She did a author talk while she was in labor in the labor room. That I was freaking out.
Okay, wait. I feel like I need a disclaimer here. I was not on video. Okay. I was not on video. I was in the comments
I
section.
think I remember you being on video.
I popped in and then I popped out. Okay. I did pop in and tell everybody what was happening, why I wasn't there, and then I, popped out. But I wasn't on video for the full thing. Okay. I feel like that disclaimer needs to be made. But it, is just one of those things. So I hope everybody had a great week last week, a version of mine, okay? And you didn't look ratchet in the ER like I did, but you find humor in those things. Luckily, there were no photos of me taken, so I will not be sharing any of those by any means. But other than that, what all did you guys do this weekend? I hope it was better. So who wants to go first? Someone jump in for their weekend.
Oh, I can't follow that.
Well, then I'll follow it.
Russell can.
Okay. So after author talk last Monday, I went to take my dog outside, and I thought she'd had a stroke. All of a sudden, her back half of her body wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to rush her to the vet. We had to cancel our trip to Houston to spend Easter with our children and grandchildren because, frankly, I didn't want my dog to die with nobody there.
Right.
And it turned out after we got her to the vet and after they looked at her 2 or 3 times that she'd only slipped a disc. She's 15 years old. She's an old dog. And so she's been medicated for a week, and I spent the whole weekend carrying that dog around so she could get well.
I love it.
So that's all I did was nurse a dog.
You're so sweet, Russell. You're sweet. I won't tell nobody, though. I won't tell no one.
And about your child trying to fly,
yes.
My son decided on election night, when I had the election party at my house when I was running for office, he got so excited he jumped off the top of the stairs to fly like Superman and broke his arm too.
Well, that was off the top of the stairs. We're talking about, a little dining table. It's not stairs. That's like, what is that? Like 10 steps, 7 steps? That makes sense. I could see. But he only broke one bone though, right? He didn't break both?
He cracked one bone, and they kept, and he had problems with it. We kept taking him to the doctor, and they kept saying it can't be broke, but he kept having problems with it. So finally, one morning when I was going to the courthouse, I told my wife, take him back, don't come home without an x-ray, because they wouldn't x-ray it before. And so she went back to the doctor, and the doctor said he's fine. No, you don't understand. My husband said I can't go home unless it's x-rayed. They x-rayed it and found it was broken.
Yeah, no, there was no, yeah, I kind of knew because it dipped down and was over. Yeah, it was gross. It was straight gross. Not even, I don't want to relive that. Fern, what did you do? What did you do this weekend?
Well, my weekend was definitely not as exciting as anything that you guys had going on. We actually did rest a little bit this weekend. We enjoyed some family time. We spent Easter Sunday at my brother's house. We ate a lot, like ridiculous amounts of food. And it was all yummy. And we watched Avatar, the new Avatar, The Way of Water. And I have to say, it's like really nice.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, the story was great. It lived up to like the first one, and also like just the visuals, the special effects. you really do feel as though they must have filmed this on location somewhere. And obviously it's a, made up planet. So clearly they did not. But it comes out so real, so realistic. It's like, wow, I'm just amazed at what technology has done to bring us these works. The age of fantasy and sci-fi has come, my friends. You really getting some good stuff nowadays. So I don't know.
I love it.
If you like Avatar, it was good.
I do. I love Avatar. It's what made me want to do graphic design when I went to college. Obviously, I didn't do that though, because I have a psychology degree, because I didn't want to move to LA. That was a lot of work. But it is definitely, when that came out, it was very influential in my decisions on kind of where to go. And it's why I like just dabbling with graphic design and things like that. But I will say though, man, I'm a sucker for John Wick though. I truly am. Me and Russell were talking about it before we went live for John Wick 4. And my kids aren't here and my husband's sick and sleeping. I'm going to go watch John Wick again. I am. I'm going to do it. Good morning, Greg. Good morning. Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm a sucker for Keanu Reeves. I mean, just anything he is in, I'm pretty much going to watch just because,
he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. Brian, what'd you do this weekend? Anything?
It was pretty uneventful. Just hard at work on some stuff, and I got a teenager learning how to drive now.
Oh, so you took your life in your hands. That's what you did. Oh, you win.
Patience.
Oh,
are you teaching him yourself, or are you sending him to driver school? Because like my father tried to teach me to drive a stick in his BMW. That was a bad idea.
In a Beamer too. Wow.
No.
But he loved you because he taught you how to drive a stick. That's a big.
He did, and he did try, but like we stopped after like about halfway through the first lesson because he was worried about the car. I was worried about the car. I was worried about him being worried about the car. So yeah, it just was not working.
No.
Yeah, I am teaching him myself. I gotta sell a few more books before I can afford driver school for him. So no, I'm teaching him, and he's learning in a Jeep Wrangler.
Nice.
So Brian, are you a chill guy? Are you a chill guy? Because I could not teach one of my children to drive. I'd kill them. So, are you chill? I'm chill enough that he's not going to get murdered, but
okay.
There have been some moments.
Yeah.
There have been some moments, but that's a lethal weapon you're driving there. There's a lot of responsibility. You can't trivialize little things. So
no,
things can easily become big things at 60 miles an hour. So.
Oh my goodness, no.
True. So before we get started with Brian and his new children's book, I want to thank the people listening to us on the podcast. Most people don't watch us on Monday, though they're invited to, but they listen to us during the week on our podcast. Amy, where can they find us?
Yes. So you guys, you can find us anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. Good Pods, Amazon, Spotify, Google, Apple, all of those. And you guys know we have our new branding logo. Everything's been updated, so you can find it. It's pretty red and gold because I love it. I love it.
How do they actually find our podcast on one of these channels? Because I have trouble telling people that.
Go to the search bar and type in Author Talk. There are several that are Author Talk, but none of them have our branding, which is the sleek red, crimson red with gold Author Talk. Generally is how it is. You can go to our YouTube channel if you want to see our lovely faces, and me and Fern try to control our facial expressions. We control what we say, but not always our facial expressions. Okay, that's true. And I'm animated and talk a lot with my hands. So you can go over to our YouTube channel or our Facebook group because we do live stream there, or any one of our social media platforms. We are all open books. And if you want to get on their show, the best way to do that, Brian learned, is to send me a DM, because I will answer those emails. Things get pushed down. Okay.
You know, you're kind of privileged, Brian, if she actually answers you. So, yeah, you should be privileged. And by the way, I want to tell the audience, I'm sorry, I'm on the dark side today. I've had technological issues.
I love it, though. You're like mysterious. I like it. I like it a lot. But no, I do get about 15 to 1,700 emails a day. So if you email me, chances are it gets pushed down. The best way is to send me a Facebook message, LinkedIn message. Somehow, I'm literally everywhere. You can find me. My last name is hard to spell, but if you type in my first name the right way, AIMEE, I will pop up. I promise. There's not very many that spell it that way. I will pop up for sure. But without further ado, let's kick the week off right with Fern. Let's get Brian talking about his latest book, Don't Be a Little Prick.
So, Brian, you have been here in the hot seat with us before. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about the first book that you had, which this book came from that. So talk to us a little bit, kind of refresh our listeners' minds on, what was the inspiration for that first book? And then, what led to doing it into a children's version?
So when I was 17, 18 years old, I worked in a kindergarten program in a child care. And I really loved early childhood education. That was my earliest background in any education, was early childhood education. And a lot of the components of this book was they really came from a misinterpretation of the curriculum that I was given at the time. And I may have gotten reprimanded for it at the time, but I felt like I was onto something. What's funny about the book now is that a lot of the activities and things that are in the book are, while they're focused on assisting children and developing and cultivating leadership principles at an early stage, I find a lot of them have wound up in the training course curriculum that we're rolling out next month. So it really is kind of universal. We say it's a children's book. It's, they're nice cartoon, like multicolored bubble lettering. And I put the word little in there,
mm-hmm.
Denoting children. So
I know that the title, right, came from the book that you had done for adults.
Right.
Did you have any concerns about using the same title with a children's book? Have you had any kind of pushback on it? Because I could see some people kind of getting like, about it.
I'm not important enough to get canceled.
Not yet.
And I suppose there's a concern about that. I haven't felt it too much, but I don't know if that's because it's not a problem, or if it's just because people just don't want to be involved or offer their critique or whatever. But
yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. I love the title. I mean, I think Amy and I both are like in love with that title. And I think, but I was just wondering, because it is interesting, given that it's for kids and stuff. Yeah. So this book is about leadership, instilling leadership qualities. For kids, what grade ranges or age ranges is it kind of geared for? I know you mentioned it could really be for anybody. But like, right. What is it kind of geared towards for young children?
So, and the program that I was working in, I said before, it was a kindergarten program. It was really popular. Some of the activities were really popular with those age ranges at the time. That's when I started using it. I haven't really done a market test on other age ranges. So I've pretty much only done it with either that kindergarten age or adults. I have employed some of these tactics before as an instructor when I was with the state. So, yeah, I mean, really any range, any age from about 5 years on, I would say is going to enjoy this book.
And I love how kindergarten is, your starting point, because, if you're going to raise up leaders, why wait until, further in? Start right away instilling the principles of leadership in the kiddos. So what would you say are the most important principles that this book helps instill?
So effective communication, definitely. The importance of working together as a team, understanding. Something I also wanted to emphasize was that as leaders too, we're always trained that leadership is about creating new leaders. It's about creating this legacy of leadership. But not everybody wants to be in leadership. That doesn't align with everybody's life plan, everybody's goal. And we need to know how to it's more inclusive of them as well, learning how to support people in their own goals, even if that doesn't involve eventually, ascending some position of responsibility and care over other people. But what the book really does emphasize is that element of taking care of one another and looking out for each other, how to build effective teams with, unification and all of that. So.
And that's really good because, kindergartners can get a little wild.
Yeah.
Learning to work.
I don't know if it's just kindergartners. Okay, I mean,
No?
I have a 3-year-old that
They don't outgrow it. They don't outgrow it.
Are you kidding me? No, I think it happens before kindergarten because I told you my 3-year-old tried to fly. Okay, and now she's so proud. She's so proud of her broke arm that if you don't sign it, she's offended. Okay, so I'm just saying I see a lot of ER visits in my future, and so I feel like it starts way before kindergarten. She's a force to be reckoned with. I pity her kindergarten teacher, to be honest. I do.
Well, so to that point though too, something else I wanted to emphasize in the book was that while we are cultivating leadership principles and children aren't in charge, we still, as adults, we take care of our children. And so that point is also emphasized in there as well. This is just sort of early development of those traits, but not the employment of it.
Well, and to be a good leader, you also need to know how to come under authority. And so that's part of the process too, teaching people how to be a good follower and appreciate good leadership. So, what are some of the activities that you have in the book? What is your favorite one?
So the activity that kicked all of it off was the ant activity, and I think because Amy, earlier when we were talking, you had mentioned that you had read through this one, and I didn't have a lot of time to talk to you about some of the activities and get your opinions on it. Which, by the way, I love that y'all actually read the author's work before you talk about it on your podcast. That's awesome. Thank you. But one of the activities that's my favorite is the one that got me the reprimand. Having I set a playground up with a bunch of larger objects and had the kids work together as a colony of ants to get one object from one side of the playground to the other side of the playground. And I get some parents were mad. Clothes were not as clean leaving as they were dropping them off. So.
I gotta tell you, I think that's a brilliant lesson in teamwork.
Mm-hmm.
And I that shocks me that such a simple little effort and the lesson of teamwork, it's not orally given to them because it just bounces off of them at that age, but they're learning by their actions a teamwork. I think that's brilliant.
Oh, thank you. we're still learning a lot about.
I'm surprised parents were upset over dirty clothes. I mean, isn't that sort of a given? You have a child, it's going to get dirty clothes.
Yes, it's a never friggin' ending laundry cycle. Okay,
that's what I would assume. Like, I would just be prepared. Like, oh look, you came muddy again. It's just normal. No,
yeah. I didn't take offense to it at all because I was like, yeah, no, this is my life. My children change outfits five times a day, and it's not even dirty. Okay, it's just it's a process.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have an angry mob of parents or anything coming at me with pitchforks. It was more, the director had to relay some complaints that were made. And all it takes is one or two, parents that are upset about the clothes, being dirty. But at that age, we're also still learning what different learning styles. The kids don't even know what style they learn best at that age yet. So we're kind of still learning whether or not they're the spatial learners or the auditory learners, or we're still learning about all that stuff with them through observation. So they need to be any time you deliver curriculum to that age, it has to span up several different learning styles in order to optimize its impact.
Yeah.
And appeal to kids that may not learn if they just read it. They might have to experience it, or vice versa. So,
yeah, and I love at that age especially, anything physical is probably a great way to learn because I feel like they have so much energy, and the physical activities are really just very great ways to get them to learn. And the idea of working together to move this object as a team, that's really, really critical thinking, right? How do you work that together? How do you make it happen? It's really great. I'm just surprised that that's the one that they dinged you on. Just kind of boggles the mind.
I was making minimum wage. It's okay.
Right. And what another good thing about it is it teaches the lesson of having to listen to others and listen to other people's ideas. There's so many functional benefits from it that you learn at it. And I can tell you, a lot of children go through their entire time of growing up and learning and don't learn how to work as a team and to function as a group, and have trouble as they get older because of it. So I think it's incredible. I actually, from raising 3 children or 3.5, know how important that is and how the lack of it can cause problems.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know for me, like I just defaulted whenever there was teamwork. I defaulted to, what do you need me to do? What part of this do I get to do? And then I just did that part, because it was hard for me as an introvert to really get along and find any kind of joy in having to deal with other people and working, like I just want to know, what do I do? And I'll just get that done. And my part's done, I'm going to make sure my part's done, that kind of thing.
Man, I thrived in those environments. Like I thrived in those because, oh man, this is going to make me sound so bad. And I don't mean it to, but I'm totally going to say it because I know others can relate. I could just be like, hey, this is what needs to get done. Your skill sets are this. So we're going to divide and conquer. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to do this. This seems better suited for you. So here we're going to do it. I guess I'm a leader. Now that I say this all out loud, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am a leader. Oh, good. No. Oh, goodness. Okay. But I thrived in those because I felt like, like when it's like a massive workload or something like that, and being an extrovert, it's nice to bounce ideas and things like that off of somebody else and kind of be like, oh, well, maybe this would work better if we switched it and did it this way. So then it's like a group think environment. So it was like, well, not everything that I think is the way it needs to be. Like, like
exactly. And that's part of the lesson you would learn. Right?
Yeah, it was
that
wonderful.
You have to listen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That would be one of the issues I would also have to deal with.
Listening.
Yeah, listening to other people and doing what other people want to, because I never was much of a team player, right?
Yeah.
I don't play as a team. I'm not that guy. And if you're going to be a young adult in the modern society of today, you need to know how to work as a team if you're going to get a job in business or government or in just about any other profession, because of the way things are now.
Mhm.
So it's a big lesson.
But I think I know it helps, in your business or in the career path and thing. But I think honestly too, and Brian, you might know more than me, or you can correct me. I'm totally comfortable with that. I think it just kind of helps make you a more rounded, like well-rounded person, because then you understand that you don't always have to be right. So then I think it makes you more open-minded to other people's ideas. And that kind of, for me, makes the world go round, because we're all different, right? And that's such a beautiful thing. And it's embracing all of that. So I think learning that from a young age kind of helps set you up for just good social skills and career goals and things like that. But I think it just makes you more of a pleasant person, because I am a pleasant person, and I'm going to go with the fact that I am this. So I'm going to say that. That's just my own opinion, though, of myself, I guess.
Yeah, but I do have a quick question for you, Brian, because okay, you mentioned this activity and it's really, you need a group of kiddos to work the activities. Are all of the activities kind of like that? Are there some that if a parent has just do you need kind of a group? Is kind of my question. Are there some that can be done more individually, or are they all kind of group related? Because I could see that a book about leadership would need sort of a group type setting.
No, not all of them require a group. Actually, I think that might be the only activity that actually requires a group. There's more in there that emphasize some of these points that you all are making about communication. There's ones that just a single parent can do with a single child, or a teacher can give some focus to a classroom, or just a individual that's struggling with a certain aspect with some of these activities. And I recycled some old stories as well. So there's some familiar stories in there that are, I think, in the area of 1,500 years old. So I'm pretty sure they're in the public domain now. I don't know. I hope so. But that emphasized some of those points as well. So it's through storytelling and activity. So there's a lot to do that don't require groups.
Yeah, I was wondering because I was wondering if you were specifically targeting more schools or homeschool groups or things like that, or if it was also a good fit for if you're a parent at home and you only have one kiddo,
Yeah.
Although I know parents that have whole groups of kiddos now. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
some people are prolific in children.
Yeah.
This is where Russell's going to say, like Amy and her 15 children. I was waiting. I was waiting for that.
Guy too, right, Amy?
I know. I was waiting. We were going to have this banter, and I was like, oh, that's the segue for Russell to say Amy and her 15 kids.
No, you said it, so I double win. But I would have been the perfect market for this, because I was the family nerd guy that did this kind of stuff with my kids, because I was a big believer in developing their character and their personality.
Yeah.
And I was a hyper be involved. So this is I was the target, not anymore, but my daughter would be the target audience, because she has 3 babies, right? Mm-hmm. So she's a target audience. So this is a book I should get for her. Though she may get me on that title, Brian. She may say, what the hell's this? Say, look, this is, read it.
That word is going to be the death of me. And it's got 4 or 5 different definitions. And I'm using it in 2 contexts, and neither one are the derogatory one. But, people, I guess they hear what they want to hear. And I understand it is a little jarring, but until you open up the book and give it a chance. Maybe just if you're a teacher and you get the book, keep it in your library at home and don't bring it into your classroom.
And then just use it. You just use the activity. Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, there's a million books out there. There's a million books out there. you struggle as an author to get attention in this world. So that might be, so it might give you a little opportunity that otherwise it wouldn't have, because there's so much that you become invisible, and it's a constant struggle as an author to push out from the invisibility.
Mhm.
And speaking of that title, and like you're saying, it has more than one meaning, right? And how did you what is the meaning that you feel like it is connecting to your book that you want people to take away, that instead of the instantaneous derogatory mind that goes, over here?
Yeah, you sickos out there, get your minds out of the gutter. It's a children's book. No, but obviously it's a bee pun. So if for those that haven't seen the book or know what's in the book, everything is arranged in poems. They're short, simple poems, just like the first book was, and they're always accompanied with a bee illustration. So don't be a prick is obviously it's a bee pun, referring to the sensation that you feel when a stinger punctures you.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just a really intractable, really difficult person to be around. So in those two contexts, and I think Russell had asked me back in December or whenever it was where the title came from, and I kind of shirked it off like, it's maybe a phrase I'd used in the past. There is a story behind it that I recently just kind of felt like, okay, statute of limitations, enough time has passed, I can probably tell this story. The story came actually when I was the title actually came from when I was a young Lance Corporal in the Marine Corps. I was working in an office. I had a really difficult phone conversation with a superior, and I had a gunnery sergeant working behind me. I didn't realize that he was there with an earshot. And when I hung up the phone on this superior, I might have uttered under my breath that he was a prick. And he caught me. And I thought, this is it. For sure, I'm going to get tuned up. I'm like, this is not good. And he kind of just smiled. He sat me down. He calmed me down. He really approached it like something I hadn't expected. When you're that early in the Marine Corps, drill instructors and the first people in your command, but you're still a little gung ho and hyperactive. It takes you a little bit to calm down, but several months later, on the same day, I found out that we were pregnant with our first child. I was going to be a dad for the first time. Went to the doctor and had to return back to my office. When I returned back to my office after the sonogram, I was informed that I was being meritoriously promoted to corporal. And so it was a great day. Promotion ceremony, really quick that afternoon happens, and that gunnery sergeant comes up, shakes my hand, and I asked him for any advice. I'm going to be a dad and a non-commissioned officer. You have any advice for me? And he kind of just winked at me and said, "Don't be a prick." And it kind of became an inside joke, kind of a running joke between the two of us for a while. So I'm gonna take ownership over this title, and I'm not going to change it. It's important to me. It's important.
Well, you're a Marine, so you have a right not to. You're a Marine.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's a great story for where it came from, and yeah, I don't think you have the bees as your symbol for these bucks, so definitely there is that connection.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see too, like in terms of the marketing, how it goes. Yeah. And such, but I think it's a really valuable tool for parents and teachers, homeschooling parents that are interested in working with kids, and just to building these leadership skills from an early age right away, helping kids know how to be a leader, how to be how to come under authority. Those are really valuable skills. And of course, communication, as you say, is the main one, right? How to communicate effectively. What are some of the other core values that you feel are in this book and that come through for the little people?
The
The little mini humans. The little mini
I
humans.
hear little people, I think me. Yeah, communication's is a big one, especially now, where everything is done over text messaging, and we use likes as currency, and for our self-esteem. That's a big one. Learning how to function in a team, learning how to be accepting of others. Learning how to get the information, learning that it's okay, understanding what we can benefit from our failures, and giving ourselves permission to not always succeed, and learning how to purpose those shortcomings or those pitfalls to our advantage.
I love that part. I love it because we have such an emphasis in society on perfection, on trying to be perfect, on trying to appear perfect at all times. And so that is a beautiful thing to teach young kids, that you don't have to be perfect. You can fail, and failure can be a teacher.
Yeah. American culture especially honors that hustle, and we always emphasize that hustle, and that be the best and get on top and all that. And it just leads to a poor quality of life for some people. Learn how to be just a human being, fallible and wonderful, and set your own goals and be yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, before my time Nazi gets on to me, I'm going to jump the gun here because I don't want him to get on to me, because he's in his mysterious low lighting and it's kind of scary for me. Closing statements, questions, comments, anything like that, because our time is wrapping up. But before we jump into that, Brian, thank you so much for reaching out and for coming back and for putting out such a bold title. We kind of talked about it. I like very kind of direct titles. I know what I'm getting and things like that. So I absolutely love it. And for telling the story behind your title, because that is a beautiful story and you should take ownership of it. I absolutely love it. Yes, Greg, I agree. It was a great show.
I'm not going to get court-martialed, so I'm good.
There you go, right? You're not going to get in trouble, so you're okay for sure. But let's do closing comments, questions, statements. Russell, you first.
Okay, my first question is, Brian, you haven't told the audience, especially on our podcast, how they can find your book and where they can buy it.
It's available. It is available on Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble. It can be a little difficult to find. I recommend typing in the "Don't Be a Prick" with 2 E's with the B, like the insect, and then my name. It is the easiest, the best way to purchase it though is through don'tbeaprick.com, and that is also the B is with 2 E's. You can find all the books there. Subscribing to the Hive, to the newsletter, get you updates. I send a free abbreviated version of Don't Be a Prick to anybody who signs up to that newsletter. It's free. It's just takes an email address. I'm not going to spam you or give your information out to anybody. I'll never ask for payment information. It's just leaders helping leaders lead. There will also be updates on when the Don't Be a Prick training series rolls out. I'm going to make that available digitally as well as in person. So we'll be able to send an instructor out to your company, your agency, whatever, and give an introductory leadership course to your staff. But don'tbeaprick.com is probably the best way to purchase it.
I like it. Russell, do you have any more? You're good? Fern?
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to learn how the actual workshops and training program works, because I think it's such an important topic and we are in need of it in our society. So keep us posted on how that is going and how we can support you, my friend.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you all very much. This it's always my favorite podcast to come back to. So.
Oh, well, thank you. We just do it because we love it. And it's a shock to know that 8 years has flown by, having so much fun and getting to kick the week off with my best friends. So it is one.
And the people follow us, man. That's like a shock, man. We were like, we just talking out here.
We're just here loving talking with authors because the world would be so boring without authors. But Brian, thank you for reaching out and wanting to come back and talk about it, because we are open. If you have a series of books, you want to come talk about all of them, you have a new one coming out and you've already been on, reach back out to us. We are more than happy to have you back on and to talk with you or anything like that. But until next time, you guys, until next Monday, we hope you all have a fantastic week. Definitely better than mine was last week. And until then, we'll talk to you all next Monday. Bye, everybody.